Listen to Aloore Radio, the voice of Oyo State.
ọgbà tí àṣejìná lòdì ìrànjẹ làwọn aláṣẹ ìjókòtì tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ ọba ni wọ́n ó ṣe gàyà díẹ̀ ná ìlú ló láṣẹ ẹjẹ́ ìlú ó jẹun náà ìdí nìyí tó fi jẹ́ pé ẹ̀tọ́ ìlú là ń fowó ìlú ṣe nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀rí bí ní ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wa ṣe ń jògèrè LAUTECH ti di tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé bíi 40 ló ti wẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀tún pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tòun tòògùn àti irinṣẹ́ tó pójú owó iṣẹ́ sì ti fẹ́ẹ̀ parí pẹ̀lú lórí 100 míì jákèjádò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ààbò tó dájú ohun amáyédẹrùn ní ìṣokùnfà ìdásílẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá láwùjọ òun náà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi wà nípò kẹta nínú àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ń pawó wọlé jùlọ lábẹ́lé nílẹ̀ wa ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ ló ti láǹfààní ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ lọ́nà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yìí ó sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wá bọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán ńkọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọrírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ gbẹ.
iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
Right, a very good morning, and you're welcome live to Aloore Radio. Where we're transmitting from the GSM studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism Secretariat, Agode Ibadan. My name is Nea Sequenio, live on the This Morning newspaper review, and I'll be bringing you the newspaper review from the Nation newspaper. And my colleague,
a very wonderful morning to you out there. I am Olukemi Omotosho. You are welcome to newspaper review. I have with me the Nigerian Tribune, and the first story I'm going to read is saying, "Alleged Christians persecutions. Federal government replies 5 U.S. senators with a rider. Nigeria does not have policy of violating freedom of religion." It says that can be found on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Okay, so my first story from the Nation newspaper: Wike's camp gives IU must go condition to back Atiku.
Again, arsonists attack INEC office in Enugu, destroy buildings, ballot papers. With a rider, 4 feared killed as bandits attacked Sokoto local government. Another Catholic priest abducted in Kaduna. It can be found on page 26 and 27 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And I'll be taking 2 stories. Akeredolu okays self-defense. That can be found on page 4 of the Nation. And Zenith Bank is Nigeria's best at World Finance Awards. That can be found on page 7 of the Nation newspaper.
Still on our attack, federal government was too quick to blame ISWAP for our church attack. Akeredolu, that is on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Osun 2022, Sanwo-Olu, Ganduje, Omisore, APC will win fair and square. INEC promises better performance. SDP candidates to deploy IT at Deleke assures Iwo of Varsity Campus. You can read more on page 26 of the Nation newspaper.
The same story can be found on page 22 of the Nigerian Tribune. Ganduje, Sanwo-Olu, Omisore in Osun for Oyetola says APC will win big.
Ipman, federal government agency face off to worsen petrol scarcity. That can be found on page 4 of the Nation newspaper.
Lagos residents consume 4.5 billion food daily. 4.5 billion naira food daily. Sanwo-Olu. That can be found on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. I guess you love food also.
Who doesn't love food?
Not too much.
Why Tinubu will succeed Buhari by Oshomole. That can be read on page 5 of the Nation newspaper.
Bauchi Assembly crisis worsens as hoodlums attack members, vandalize vehicles, buildings. Police take over complex, full attempts to raise assembly. That can be found on page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And taking 2 stories once again from the Nation newspaper. Lagos shuts Redeemers Primary School over pupils' deaths. And robbers disguised as policemen arrested in Nasarawa State. Those 2 stories can be found on page 2 of the Nation newspaper.
Hajj. Saudi authorities extend landing permits for Nigerian pilgrims. That can be found on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. And Zenith Bank retains position as Nigeria's best commercial bank. That is on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And from page 2 and page 3 of the Nation, gunmen killed another Catholic priest in Kaduna State. Saudi authority extends landing permits till tomorrow. You can read more on page 2 and 3 of the Nation newspaper.
Nigeria heading to deeper economic hole despite rising global oil demand, says MD 11 PLC. That can be found on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And from page 4 and 5 of the Nation, ASU, we are waiting on federal government to sign agreement. And I have the story. Federal government dismisses U.S. senators' allegation of Christians persecution. You can read more once again on page 4 and 5 of the Nation.
On page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune, bandits attack. Niger government orders suspension of mining activities, direct security agencies to profile mining sites in affected local governments. That can be found on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And still on page 5, 748 ballot boxes, 240 voting cubicles lost in Enugu State. INEC office fire attack. That's sad.
I have no relationship with Abuja property investigated by ICPC. That is coming from Buratai. That can be found on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Akpabio, APC accuses INEC REC Igini of disobeying court order. Calls for action against REC.
Fuel scarcity. CSO starts federal government on rehabilitation of comatose refineries. That can be found on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune.
And this is coming from the governor of Ondo State. Insecurity, we must defend ourselves, Akeredolu insists.
Oyo blames bureaucratic bottleneck. COVID-19 protocols for pilgrims problem as 150 intended pilgrims miss exercise. That can be found on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune.
Why I am retaining El Rufai's deputy as running mate by Uba Sani. That can be found on page 5 of the Nation newspaper.
Vandalism crippling power distribution to customers. IBEDC. That can be found on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune.
MMA run away to be shot for lighting installation. Page 7, the Nation newspaper.
The source of stability to Oyebamji's government. Firemi charges new HOS. That can be found on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune.
FIRS extends timeline for firms to file income tax returns. Page 7, the Nation newspaper.
Our conventional farming method cannot guarantee food security, DGNABDA says.
Alright, at this point we will go on a quick break. When we're right back, we'll bring you details of the newspaper review. Please stay tuned.
ọgbà tí àṣejiná lòdì ìrànjẹ làwọn aláṣejòkòtì tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa jẹ ọba ni wọ́n ó ṣe gàyà díẹ̀ ná ìlú ló láṣẹ ẹjẹ́ ìlú ó jẹun náà ìdí nìyí tó fi jẹ́ pé ẹ̀tọ́ ìlú là ń fowó ìlú ṣe nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀rí bí ní ètò ẹ̀kọ́ wa ṣe ń jògèrè LAUTECH ti di tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé bíi 40 ló ti wẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀tún pẹ̀lú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tòun tòògùn àti irinṣẹ́ tó pójú owó iṣẹ́ sì ti fẹ́ẹ̀ parí pẹ̀lú lórí 100 míì jákèjádò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ààbò tó dájú ohun amáyédẹrùn ní ìṣokùnfà ìdásílẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá láwùjọ òun náà nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ fi wà nípò kẹta nínú àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ tí ń pawó wọlé jùlọ lábẹ́lé nílẹ̀ wa ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ ló ti láǹfààní ẹ̀kọ́ṣẹ́ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ lọ́nà ti gbàlódé táṣeyọrí yìí ó sì jẹ́ kó ń jẹ́ sùn wá bọ̀ láìpẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbowó wọn lásìkò pápá àṣírí Adámàsìngbà àtàwọn inú ojú pópó tí ń sòrú dọ̀sán ńkọ́ àwọn ìlú ti sọ pásì ìwádùn níṣèjọba yìí fi ń mọrírì gbogbo àwọn aláṣẹ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ló ń sọ fún wa pé pẹ̀lú ìṣọ̀kan wa oòrùn tó kù lókè yìí ó táṣọ gbẹ.
iléeṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
You are welcome back to Newspaper Review on Aloore Radio. You can like and share on Aloore Radio. Facebook is at www.facebook.com/Aloore Radio. YouTube is at Aloore Radio. And our website remains www.alooreradio.com. Our studio line is 09039 09039853731. 09039853731. If you want to call in for questions, for advert placements, you are welcome. The first story I'm going to take is from page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Alleged persecution of Christians. No basis for US to designate Nigeria country of particular concern, federal government. The federal government on Monday condemned the call by 5 United States Republican senators asking for the designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern because of alleged persecution of Christians. The senators who made this call in a letter to the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken also alleged violation of freedom of Christians' right to practice their religion. Responding to the allegation in an interview with the News Agency of Nigeria in London, the Minister of Information and Culture, Mr. Lai Mohammed, said the call is based on false premise and misunderstanding of what was going on in the country. For the rest of that story, you can turn to page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Alleged persecution of Christians. No basis for U.S. to designate Nigeria country of particular concern, federal government.
All right, from the Nation newspaper, Lagos shuts Redeemer's primary school over pupils' death. Lagos State Ministry of Education has shut the Redeemer's nursery and primary school, Ogba. The school, the Commissioner for Education, Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo, said yesterday will remain closed pending an administrative investigation of its operations and procedures, as well as the conduct of its officials in line with schools' safety standards and guidelines. For more details, turn to page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Lagos shuts Redeemer's primary school over people's deaths.
And on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune also, federal government was too quick to blame ISWAP for our church attack, Akeredolu. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State has again disagreed with the federal government over who should be blamed for the killing of worshippers in Owo. Reacting to the killing during an interview on Channels TV's Politics Today on Monday, he said to link the Islamic State's West African province ISWAP to attack is questionable. He said, and I quote, "I reacted to that almost immediately because I asked what evidence do they have," the governor said. "It is important to let us know because the security agencies were too quick to jump to the conclusion that it was done by ISWAP." For the rest of that story, you can turn to page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Federal government was too quick to blame ISWAP for our church attack, Akeredolu.
Abducted Italian priest freed in Edo State. Abducted Catholic priest Reverend Father Luigi Brina, 64, has been freed. 3 of the suspected kidnappers were killed in a gun duel with policemen. Reverend Father Brenner was seized around 5:45 p.m. on July 3rd by hoodlums along Ogunwe Road through Use community in Ovia South West local government area of Edo State. Well, I thank God for his life, but you can read more on the story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper.
I thank God for his life too. On page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune, 2022 Hajj. Relief for Muslim pilgrims as Saudi extends landing permit to Nigeria. Relief has come the way of many intending Nigerian Muslim pilgrims to Mecca who were stranded across airports in Nigeria, particularly the Lagos airport, as the General Authority for Civil Aviation (GACA) of Saudi has approved extension of landing permit for Nigerian Hajj carriers under the umbrella of National Hajj Commission of Nigeria (NAOCON). Prior to the extension, many of the pilgrims whose hope of making the spiritual journey to Saudi had been dashed in view of the lack of availability of aircraft and other logistics were in tears and disappointment, having prepared for the exercise at Lagos airport. The extension, which started from July 4th, will end on July 6th for one of the airlines, whereas July 4 and July 9 had been approved for the other. For the rest of that story, you can turn to page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune. 2022 Hajj. Relief for Muslim pilgrims as Saudi extends landing permit to Nigeria.
NECO shift exam for Salah celebration. The National Examination Council, NECO, has said it had not fixed any paper in the ongoing Senior School Certificate Examination (SSCE) for school-based candidates for Saturday, June 9, 2022, which has been declared Salah Day. The council said this would enable Muslims to have enough time to celebrate the festival. For more details, turn to page 3 of the Nation newspaper. NECO shift exam for Salah celebration.
I believe the Salah break will be a welcome development for the students. And on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune, I have Lagos residents consume 4.5 billion naira food daily, Sanwo-Olu. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State said residents of the state consume about 4.5 billion naira worth of food daily, just as he reiterated commitment to food security. Sanwo-Olu said this at the opening ceremony of a 2-day zonal sensitization workshop with the theme Implementation of Food Systems Transformation Pathway in Nigeria 2022 on Monday in Lagos. It was gathered that the workshop was organized by the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning in collaboration with Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture and Lagos Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. For the rest of that story, you can turn to page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. Lagos residents consume 4.5 billion naira food daily, Sanwo-Olu.
NCDC reports COVID-19 cases increased by 67% in 2 weeks. Latest data from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has shown that COVID-19 cases in the country surged by 66.6% in 2 weeks. According to the data which was made available to the nation, between weeks 21 and 22, May 23 to June 5th, and weeks 23 increased to 445 from 267. Hence, there was a percentage increase in new cases of approximately 67% within the period. For more details, turn to page 3 of the Nation newspaper. NCDC reports COVID-19 cases increased by 67% in 2 weeks.
On labor, Norge berates federal government over ASUU strike, tax Tinubu, Atiku, Peter Obi on local government autonomy. Excuse me. The Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, Norge, have called on the president.
Why Tinubu will succeed Buhari by Oshima.
lóòótọ́ àlùkà wà ní ẹrù olódùmarè ni ló fi jẹ́ pé àlùkà wà ní téèyàn bá ṣe lórí òdodo olódùmarè tó lẹ́rù náà ní bá ní gbé àgbẹ́kẹ̀lé ìṣèjọba omi tuntun tí ń bẹ nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ èyí tí gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ń darí nìyí ló fi jẹ́ ọgbà tí ìṣèjọba yìí ti gorí àlééfà ló ti gbé ìlànà ìṣèjọba olóko mẹ́rin kalẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀fẹ́ ìwòsàn ọ̀fẹ́ ìgbélárugẹ ọrọ̀ ajé ohun ààbò tó gbópọn lára àṣeyọrí ìlànà yìí ní gbígba iléèwé gíga yunifásitì LAUTECH fúnpìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ owó ìrànwọ́ fáwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ọmọ òfin àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ gbàwé ọ̀fẹ́ ó sì tún gbolùkọ́ síṣẹ́ ìwòsàn ọ̀fẹ́ ní tìbútò òró ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ nípa kíkọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé sí wọ́ọ̀dù tó dín ní 300 níye àtúnṣe àwọn ilé ìwòsàn tó ti wà tẹ́lẹ̀ òun ilé ìwòsàn alágbèéká kọ́rọ̀ ajé ìpínlẹ̀ wa lè rú gọ́gọ́ sí a ṣàtúnṣe àwọn ọ̀nà tó ti wà tẹ́lẹ̀ a sì tún la tuntun Ìṣẹ́yìn sọ́yọ́ Ìṣẹ́yìn sógbómọ̀ṣọ́ Ìṣẹ́yìn sókèèwò Ṣakí sọ́gbọ̀rọ̀ àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ìgbélárugẹ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ òun ní ojú pópó tó mọ́lẹ̀ rókoṣo ẹ̀tọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì òsì tẹ̀tì ààbò sì dúró ore nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ báwọn ọdẹ onípàkúté ò tiẹ̀ sinmi pàkúté wọn ń dìdẹ Olódùmarè tó lẹ́rù ń bá ìṣàkóso ìgbẹ́rù rẹ̀ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé wá ń dúpẹ́ fún àtìlẹ́yìn gbogbo wa nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ lágbára Olódùmarè ibi re lòkè yìí ń gbé wa rè ibi re.
Ilé-iṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
Sorry for the breaking transmission. I'll go back to the story. It says Norge berates federal government over ASUU strike, tax Tinubu, Atiku, Peter Obi on local government autonomy. The Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, Norge, has called on the presidential candidates of the All Progressive Congress (APC), People's Democratic Party (PDP), and Labour Party Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and Peter Obi respectively, to publicly make known their stance on local government autonomy bill to Nigerians. Norgay further said it will mobilize its team members across Nigeria to vote against presidential candidates who refuse to support local government autonomy, while it will, on the other hand, vote massively for any candidate that supports and ensure the bill is passed into law. For the rest of that story, you can turn to page 21 of the Nigerian Tribune. Norgay berates federal government over ASUU strikes, attacks Tinubu, Atiku, Peter Obi on local government autonomy.
Why Tinubu will succeed Buhari by Oshomole. Former national chairman of the All Progressives Congress (APC), Comrade Adams Oshomole, yesterday explained why the presidential candidates Asiwaju Bola Tinubu should succeed President Muhammadu Buhari in next year's election. The former Edo State governor has also predicted victory for Osun State Governor Gboyega Oyetola during the July 16 poll across the 13 local governments in the state. For more details, you can turn to page 5 of the Nation newspaper. While Tinubu will succeed Buhari by Oshomole.
Still on politics, Sanwo-Olu, Ganduje, Omisore in Osun says APC will win big, makes statements ahead 2023 elections. Lagos State Governor and Chairman of the Campaign Committee for the All Progressive Congress (APC) for the Osun election, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on Monday said the APC is out to record a big win in the Osun election and make a statement ahead of the general election. Sanwo-Olu stated this when he led members of the campaign team on a visit to the country home of former Governor Olagunsoye Oyinlola in Odo-Otin local government area of the state. While asserting that the party is poised for a win in the Osun election, Sanwo-Olu appealed to people of the state to support the party to record a landslide victory. For the rest of that story, you can turn to page 22 of the Nigerian Tribune. Sanwo-Olu, Ganduje, Omisore in Osun says APC will win big, make statements ahead 2023 election.
ASUU, we are waiting on federal government to sign agreement. Hope rose again for students of public universities as the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASUU yesterday said it had completed negotiation with the federal government on the issues that led to its 141-day-old strike. The strike can end tomorrow. We are done, according to Ostodeke, he says the strike can end tomorrow. We are done with the negotiations and now waiting for the government to call us for the signing of the negotiated agreement. For more details, you can turn to page 5 of the Nation newspaper.
Bauchi Assembly crisis worsen as hoodlums smash vehicles, building. Police takeover complex foil attempt to raise assembly. Men of the Bauchi Police Command on Monday night took over the State House of Assembly complex to forestall a total breakdown and order in the state. This is coming few hours after some suspected hoodlums attempted to burn down the complex on Sunday. Earlier on Monday, another set of hoodlums attacked some members of the assembly in their guest house, smashing cars and destroying properties in their site. The hoodlums, numbering about 50, stormed the guest house where the lawmakers were holding a meeting a few meters away from the government house and tried to chase them away. The incident was a twist in the leadership crisis rocking the assembly. Narrating his experience, one of the lawmakers who was injured in the attack, Honorable Ado Wakali, representing Bura constituency, said, "We were inside having a meeting when we suddenly heard noise and people banging on the gate. As we rushed out to see what was happening, the hoodlums rushed in holding guns, cutlasses and other dangerous weapons." For the rest of that story, you can turn to page 23 of the Nigerian Tribune. Bauchi Assembly crisis worsens as hoodlums smash vehicles, building. Police takeover complex foil attempt to raise assembly.
Lagos residents consume 4.5 billion food daily.
Maybe I said you like food.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has said residents of the state consume about 4.5 billion naira worth of food daily. Sanwo-Olu stated this yesterday at the opening of 2-day zonal sensitization workshop with the theme Implementation of Food Systems Transformation Pathway in Nigeria 2022 in Lagos. The workshop was organized by the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning in collaboration with Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. For more details, turn to page 27 of the Nation newspaper.
And on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune, youth protest increase in road accidents in Oyo, barricade Ibadan Ijebu-Ode road. Protesting youths on Monday morning barricading the Ibadan end of Ijebu-Ode road over increasing road accidents in the axis. It was learned that accidents on the road in the last couple of days had resulted in the death of several persons, including a youth corps member. The protesters, numbering about 100, took over the road, forcing motorists to find alternative routes. As a result, commuters were forced to trek long distance, especially staff members of Oluyole Local Government Secretariat, Idiayunre. For the rest of that story, you can turn to page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune. Youths protest increase in road accidents in Oyo, barricade Ibadan Ijebu-Ode road.
And on the Osun governorship election, Sanwo-Olu Ganduje Omisore confident of victory. Co-chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC National Campaign Council for the Osun governorship poll, governors Babajide Sanwo-Olu Lagos and Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano are confident the APC will secure a landslide victory in the election. This view was also shared by the party's national secretary, Senator Iola Omisore. For more details, turn to page 26 of the Nation newspaper. Sanwo-Olu Ganduje Omisore confident of victory.
The last story I'm going to read is taken from page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. Arsenals on the rampage again, set Enugu INEC office ablaze. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC Enugu office in Igbeoze, North Local Government Area, has been set on fire. A statement signed by INEC's National Commissioner Information and Voters Education Committee, Festus Okoye, disclosed that the attack was perpetrated on Sunday, with the arsonists forcing their way into the building after overpowering the security guards on duty. Okoye in a statement said, and I quote, "Although no casualties were reported, 748 ballot boxes, 240 voting cubicles, office furniture and equipment were destroyed in spite of the best effort of the Enugu State Fire Service deployed from Nzuka," he said. For the rest of that worrisome story, you can turn to page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. Arsonists on the rampage again, set Enugu INEC office ablaze.
Catholic Church rejects Lagos abortion guidelines. The Catholic Church in Nigeria, Lagos Archdiocese, has rejected the new abortion guidelines in the state. For more details, turn to page 27 of the Nation newspaper. And that's where we draw the curtain close on this edition of Newspaper Review live here on Aloore Radio, where we are transmitting from the GSM studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism Secretariat Agodi Ibadan. Don't forget you can follow us on all social media platforms, on Facebook at Aloore Radio, on YouTube at Aloore Radio, or you visit our website on www.alooreradio.com. Once again, I am Eneo Asukwo.
My name is Olukemi Omotosho. Thanks for listening and do have a wonderful day.